So I feel that out of all the best possible people running for president and what they could offer to the American people, I would vote for R.F. Kennedy. I would just take crazy over old and corrupt, which is what Biden and Donald Trump are in the wards of the voters. He was an environmentalist lawyer throughout his entire life. I mean, the most important issue to me is climate change and the future of the planet. He has fought against the corporate interests in the name of the environment. And RFK is into vaccine conspiracies, which he seems a little bit kooky, but um, I think whoever is his medical advisors, I mean, they're going to keep RFK in check. They'll be sure that they have competent medical professionals. I mean, hypothetically speaking, a hypothetical RFK uh, presidency, but no debate is allowed. The, uh, Marianne Williamson and RFK, they will not be allowed to debate Joe Biden. Uh, Joe Biden helped the establishment. The drug war, Iraq, and Biden, they did not vote for the increase in the minimum wage. He is not, he won't go away from single payer, you know. So he passed bipartisan infrastructure. He did, but you know, status quo is still in charge, and RFK is anti-establishment. And the fact that he's a direct descendant of JFK, even better. I'll take a Kennedy any day over a Biden. So I'm going to vote RFK in the primaries because he doesn't need a teleprompter. He speaks from the heart and the mind. His track record speaks for itself. He did fight against the cabal and the elite. He did. So he's got my vote in the primary. Now, it's just assumed that Joe Biden is going to run in the general election, but you should still vote in the primary because it means that Joe Biden can be contested. It shouldn't be about the age for Joe Biden. It should be about, is he gonna fight against the status quo? And Joe Biden will not. But then again, he's done a lot of legislation. He has passed a lot of bills in Congress with the help of Republicans. So Biden gets quite a bit of kudos that at least he did get some stuff done. And Donald Trump never ever passed infrastructure bill, even with the Republican Congress. Biden passed the largest tax cut in a year since Ronald Reagan. He expanded Obamacare. At least there's a bill out there to address climate change. We should have had bipartisan infrastructure with Trump, but that's just how incompetent Donald Trump is. He's never ever had government experience. And the only person that Donald Trump serves is himself. And with that being said, with RFK, the environmentalist lawyer, descendant of John F. Kennedy, JFK was killed by the CIA, the mob, and he issued an executive order 11110 to start issuing silver certificates. And the banking cabal didn't like commodity backed currency. So it's the banking cabal that killed JFK. And hopefully people consider RFK, but they're gonna think he's too crazy, whatever, that he's into, the vaccines, all that. But I like the fact that he's honest. He really believes in what he's saying, and That's what separates him from the rest of the field, quite frankly, is that he is a man of principle. Now, in the general election, we already know Trump, the great Twitter divider in chief, is back, dividing Americans on Twitter. He ignored a pandemic. He did nothing but divide Americans during a crisis. He played golf while Americans died, didn't produce the goods, the needed PPE during the time of COVID. Donald Trump, all he did was pass tax breaks to the richest Americans. That's all he did. You all got breadcrumbs. Donald Trump, he got rid of oversight of where the COVID money was going to. So him and his buddies and all these other donors and all the other uh, senators and everyone, there there was going to be no watchdog over the COVID stimulus. That's how much of a fraud it is. Donald Trump allowed them to get away with the fraud. Donald Trump allowed them to get rid of the stimulus watchdog so no one knows where the money is going towards. That is what Donald Trump did. And we need to put, and we needed to have a COVID watchdog so 80% of the benefits did not go to the richest people. The trade deficit just increased under Donald Trump. He abused his power. He had incited an insurrection. Just because you didn't get your way doesn't mean you try to overthrow democracy. He's an insurrectionist. He sympathizes with Vladimir Putin in Russia. He praised the invasion, said Putin's a smart man. He tried to overthrow democracy, and we would have a constitutional crisis if he tried to stop the certification of the votes. So it is not a question. Polkin Party will do nothing about climate change. Polkin Party will do nothing about gun reform. The Polkin Party is going to do nothing about reproductive rights. Polkin Party is not going to do anything about that. They're not going to change their stance. None of that until the time that Ivanka runs for president, all by design. Biden has gotten more done than Donald Trump. Biden is old. I think everybody knows that Biden is old, but then I wonder why they voted for Biden in the primaries in the first place. But they'll never ever let RFK win. The reason why RFK turned out the way he did was, what happened to, you know, my uncle. It's his uncle, right? What happened to JFK? Member in my family, right? So, reason why he turned out the way he did with his vaccine stances, he think there's a cabal in the government. He definitely is right. There is a cabal in the government. There's a pedophile ring in the government. They like to rape girls. They like to exert power. They stash the drugs for them in their bodies. Bill Clinton and Trump and Epstein, they raped girls together on his private jet all together. Clinton, Epstein, and Trump were all pals with each other. This is the kind of group that RFK is going to go against. So these guys are serial rapists. Joe Biden is kind of creepy under kids. Trump is a rapist. They're all pedophile ring. It's about the power, whatever, that goes on in their sick heads. It really is occult. It is cult religion where God produces magic on the masses. This is kind of the esoteric religion of the elites. No doubt they worship Moloch. No doubt, no doubt, the bull is a powerful symbol. Unleash hell on the masses. And some reason why they love it when people are suffering, collecting breadcrumbs at any time that there's a crisis going on. But Trump represents the very worst of that symptoms. At least we need functioning government that will be by and for the people. It's got to happen. It's got to happen sooner rather than later. But the road to hell is continued. Kamala is incompetent. He selected Kamala. They DNC selected uh, Kamala, who should not be running any, should not be vice president. I mean, is incompetent. Everything described with her, I cannot get behind. She favored the drug wars, and she's got a Biden. At least, I mean, Kamala attacked Biden, and then Biden is still picked her, even though she like attacked him or whatever. Like it, straight up cuck move right there. I mean, what were they doing? What were they doing? Just we can't allow Donald Trump to sell America's secrets over to foreign governments. What did Saudi Arabia give Kushner $1 billion for? Right, serve their interests. Right. Why did Rand Paul deliver a handwritten letter to Russia on the 4th of July? Donald Trump is beholden to the people that hold his debt. Donald Trump must be stopped, and he will be stopped. His legacy is dividing Americans during a crisis, giving tax cuts to billionaires. Joe Biden, he didn't give a huge tax bill to the rich. Now how Biden is a corporatist is that the tax rate went down from 35 to 21%. Then it went back up to 25%. So it wasn't even a tax increase. It's still lower than it was back in 2016. So that's how you know Biden is not doing anything in regards to, he will not tax the wealthy. Maybe Republican Party will bring it down to 15 someday. They're really going to crash the budget. I'd rather not crash the budget. Crashing the budget is about not only overspending, but it's when you got the budget in the first place. You got the tax revenue. Got to put an end to that right now.